So I'm going to start just by having them introduce themselves and their company they represent. So you all represent the company, and yourselves. Anything else you want to add about yourself, please feel free. A little background or anything. And yeah, just pass it down.
Hi, I'm Ami. I work for the company Kinema, like Cinema with a K, for a global distribution and exhibition platform.
Hi, my name is Linda Nelson, and I'm the CEO of Indie Rights, and we are global distributors.
I'm Michael Madison, and I'm a co-founder with Linda with Indie Rights, to distribute series and feature films.
And I'm Andrew Collins. I'm the COO of eoFlix. We basically are building a platform for submissions to streams and creating an ecosystem for filmmakers like yourself.
So you all said it. I'm in global distribution. You implied it. Working global distribution, and how does that work? Why don't we discuss, give us some insight into how you get the films that you work with out into the world.
Okay, so Indie Rights has been in business for 23 years now, and we were one of the first companies to actually feature films on the internet. So back in 2006, when we started, Variety did an article on us, and they said, someday over the rainbow, people will watch movies on the internet. And here we are today. We started as filmmakers, but it was really important to us to find a company that we could work with, that we thought could really, we could grow with and distribute our films with. And we weren't able to find one, so we decided we would start our own. So we went to a film festival called Dances with Films. And at that film festival, we, at Dances with Films, we gathered up 8 other filmmakers, and they all gave us DVDs, and we took those DVDs to the American film market. And back in the day, anybody could walk into the ground floor level of the American film market. And so Michael sat out by the pool, and I ran around looking for people with the right color badge. And we were willing, and we were absolutely able to find somebody that bought some of our films. So that naively gave us, the courage to say, okay, we can do this. And we started the distribution company. So now we represent over 800 filmmakers, and we have a catalog of about close to 2,000 films down. Because even though our contract is very short, we have kept all of those filmmakers. We have a 3-year contract, and those filmmakers, they all automatically renew every 3 years. And so some people have been with us 10, 15 years now.
You distribute. Where do you distribute?
We distribute globally, and we started with Amazon and Tubi. We were the very first company to have films on Tubi, and someone approached us and they said, "I have ads and you have films. Let's do this." And so we did a 50-50 deal, and that was in 2011. And so now Tubi is going global. Amazon. When we were at the Cannes Film Festival and Market this year, we decided we wanted to find out who were all the streaming companies all over the world, because we're global. We want to be global. We want our films to be seen all over the world. We wanted to know who's the top streamer in every country. Well, when we went to those, we went to each international pavilion, and we said, who are your top 3 streamers? And in every single case, they said, YouTube, Netflix, and Amazon Prime. Those are the top 3 streamers in every single country. So we were able to put our films there on Amazon. We have access to over 200 countries. So that's how we get our films out to the world.
So for Kinema, I like to think of, if I'll take Kinema out of the equation for a second and just say, if you think about your film's release, I think people often think, okay, first I'll go to film festivals and then I'll try to get on Netflix. And that's kind of the journey. And I think there's a missed opportunity there when you think about the windows of your film's release. There's sort of this opportunity for a community cinema window, I'll say, and Kinema plays there.
I want to reinforce what you said about your rights. Don't sell your film. Your film is an asset that you should hang on to forever, and you could pass it on to your kids. I mean, we have already many films where the filmmaker has actually passed, and now his family are actually collecting revenue on that film. It's a valuable asset, and it's yours. So we highly recommend that you don't sell it. We just license films for a certain period of time, and it's a brief time. So keep your rights.
I can quickly say, look, how we distribute. We go to the film markets. We sell to a territory. We can sell to a territory. And then after that, we also do all the AVOD, SVOD, TVOD windows, all the different platforms. And that's how we get your film out to the world.
Thanks. So to walk away from anything, don't sell your film. So for us at Connecting with Oxygen, we work with film festivals. And we looked at the industry around film festivals itself and thought there was a better way to do things. Better way to empower filmmakers, to create an ecosystem, to create new revenue streams, and create bill opportunity and networking all within one platform. So when we talk about submissions to streaming, we want filmmakers to go to festivals that you're going to participate with. We want with those festivals, we'll have them submit through their films. We'll have them organize and manage the festivals right within our platform. And then we can also earn funding to post an online screening and plan that screening for their festivals. From there, we really look at what happens after the festival. You have some buzz, you have some energy around your film. What goes next? What are you looking to do with your film? How does it grow? Is it a proof of concept? If it's short, there's so many shorts out there. And it's so hard. I was a development executive for years. It's so hard to find those great stories. So in my mind, what we're doing is really curating an ecosystem for filmmakers to take advantage of that, to create a community and to create an opportunity that their proof of concepts can get out there. They can license with us and we can find revenue streams. And for film lovers to actually just stream on our platform, eoFlix, just like a Netflix. But it's all about independent filmmaking. It's all about understanding, you know, what we're about, what these stories are coming. We want it to be global. We want it to like capture people, and we want people to love these new, unique stories to get out there and to find new ways of telling stories. So we embrace the technology of it all, but we really see it as creating communities for filmmakers so that they have an opportunity to actually take control of, you know, their films and their opportunities. That distribution is, in my opinion, fragmented and opaque. And so, you know, how do we create like a clear opportunity for them that they're still in control, but we can help guide them along the way? And, you know, but you, as a filmmaker, you pour so much of your heart and soul into something. And after all that time, like, it's hard for me to recognize that some of these, a lot of these films just, you know, don't see the light of day after their festival run. We think that's an underserved market, and that's what we're trying to exploit. And really, the dream that you want to making your film, that you think had seen, or you have your proof of concept out there, and that story can grow and evolve, and we can help you along the way. And within our platform, we want to create a community of filmmakers for them to all be able to react, you know, see opportunities to say, as I like that someone talk to her. That's the way I can use it. How can I connect with that person? How can we find ways to like partner and create like new stories? And we can do it all through our site. And our goal is, we're in our infancy, but it's like, it's possible, and we're getting there. And we're going to launch, you know, a new product soon. But in its thesis, it's all about like really making sure that we're championing the underdog. We're underdogs ourselves. And I feel like independent filmmakers are like the heart and soul of the industry. And that's where all the new ideas come from.
Well, you guys all sound like you're doing amazing things, but I'm, you know, I'm a filmmaker and I'm struggling and how big to get my film out in the world. So, what is the problem? What is it that's making it so difficult with all of these avenues, getting all these platforms to get your film out, all these streamers, all this, you know, global opportunities? What is it that's still making it so hard for filmmakers to get their films out below?
In my opinion, there's too much opportunity, too much choice, right? There's too many things. Like I believe the studios overplayed their hand trying to catch up to Netflix. They poured so much content out there. No one knows really what anything stands for. What is Disney Plus? It's Hulu. It's all these different things. So it's like, how do you find your market? There's nothing really designed for independent film yet. And, you know, it's hard. They have the festival circuit, and that's great. And that needs to be alive and robust. But when you look at the marketplace now, with YouTube dominating everything, but YouTube is everything for everybody. It's the Costco of film and entertainment and just content, in my opinion. So it's like, well, how do we like carve out a network or a niche that people will respond to and look to and go to, whether you're just a lover of that or you're looking to develop new ideas from that. But I don't know a platform, like, I don't know about you guys, but I've fallen asleep trying to find something to watch on Netflix because it's just overwhelming. And so I'm like, how do we actually create something that the right audience finds the right content in the right platform? I think the more that you're able to do that with the types of films you're making, the better opportunities for you to get noticed and, you know, thrive.
There's too many films, so you need to really figure out a way to stick out. Like your poster, your key art needs to be something. It needs to be clickbait. Because once you make a really great film, we get a lot of filmmakers that make really fantastic films. But you know, it's just like back in the day, you'd walk through Blockbuster, or you're looking for a book. You're going to pick that book by the cover, and if the cover doesn't make you want to stop and click on it, then you're never going to discover that film. And it doesn't matter if you have a great trailer or anything like that. The first thing you have to do is have a really good poster. And so many filmmakers, they put hundreds of thousands of dollars into a film. Then we receive the film, and they don't need any more money for a great poster. So that's one thing. And also, you just have to make a community for yourself as a filmmaker, because there's so much out there to watch. So you need to figure out some way to make yourself a brand that you can get people to know who you are and look for your next film and then the next film, just like Quentin Tarantino or any of those filmmakers.
And one of the things that we try to teach our filmmakers is that you actually are the brand, like Michael said. An individual film that you made is not a brand. And I don't think anyone here just wants to make one film and then like quit. We're making films because we love making films and we want to keep making films. So the key to it is to build a body of work. And like Michael said, no one knew who Tarantino was when he first started, or Christopher Nolan. But now, when Christopher Nolan makes a film, you're going to go see it. You don't even care what it's about or what the topic is or anything, because he is a brand and he has built a body of work that you respect. So everyone needs a YouTube channel. Everyone needs to be a YouTube creator, and you can create a channel for yourself or your production company and start building it, because every time you make a new film, you're going to feature it on that channel until you have a body of work. And we teach all of our filmmakers to put clips, couple clips a week, and slowly build up their YouTube channel so that people get used to seeing their work. And you'd be amazed how quickly you can build a community. We also encourage our filmmakers to build groups. We have one filmmaker that started a year and a half ago, and he has a group that he just started, and it's called Best Tubi and Amazon Prime Movies. And he now has almost 1 million people in that group. And all of our filmmakers, they all promote their films in that group. This is just a Facebook group. And if you can build, an audience that huge, almost 1 million people in a year and a half, just think what you'll be able to do in 5 years. I mean, you're not in this to be in it for a year. You're in it to be in it for a lifetime. We've been doing it for 25 years now. And the first 10 years were really hard. Just so you know, you have to be dedicated. You have to love what you're doing, and you have to, believe in yourself and understand that you are the brand. And so I think YouTube is a great place to do that.
But I'll add to that, because I agree with all of that. In terms of what the problem is, I think for many of these streamers, for all of the streamers, the incentives are not aligned with filmmakers and with getting your films to audiences. They need a bunch of films on their platform, but each individual film is not going to get any marketing attention. So it is incumbent upon you as the filmmaker, even if you get the dream distribution deal, it is incumbent on you to find your audience. So that incentive structure of like, they're making money on subscriptions. They don't actually care if people watch your full movie, and that's just the reality. So I would think about that a little bit. And then I agree with all of this audience building stuff. And the only thing that I would add is that often people start too late when they are thinking about distribution. They start at, when they are in post, or even after, as they're submitting to film festivals. That's sort of the first time that filmmakers start to think about distribution. You can start now. Start when you're in development. Start wherever you're at. Really thinking about who your audience is, what you want your brand to be as a filmmaker. And you mentioned YouTube. It can be YouTube. It can be any platform. Pick the one that feels most natural to you, but start building an audience today.
So
I was just going to say, starting early, like you said, is key. And these days, everybody's got a 4K camera in their pocket. So you should encourage everyone on your set. When you're in production, have everyone on your set create, little clips and videos and give them a place like a Google Drive or someplace where they can upload content, so that when you're ready to distribute your film, you have accumulated a lot of assets that you can use for promotion. So it's very valuable.
So back in the day, I'm not going to say how many days, but there was a lottery mentality that filmmakers had. Like, I'm going to make this great film and it's going to play at Sundance and it's going to sell for $1 billion, or it's going to put me on the map, and I'll be working as a filmmaker on it. That's just not a practical plan. Wasn't then, and probably less so now. Correct. So, given that, what it'd be interesting if each of you gave me sort of a paradigm of success, whether it's a story that you know or one that you imagine filmmakers can follow. I just made a film and it's well received and it's playing the festival circuit. Maybe not major festivals, but like good festivals, and I'm getting good reviews. And now I want to get it out into the world. What is a paradigm that each of you can present that I might want to follow?
I'll just give an example. We have a filmmaker. He lives in Wichita, Kansas, which is not the biggest film hub in the world. But he loved movies, and he started out making wedding videos and music videos. And he and his family decided they were going to make movies. They make movies in the $30,000 to $50,000 range, and they're starting to look like studio films. And they routinely make $100,000 first quarter out on Tubi. Okay. So that means and they now we're on we just got their sixth film, and they're making at least one a year, sometimes two a year, and they're thriving. And, and they have built a community, and it just shows that no matter where you are, you don't have to live in LA. You can build a community anywhere, and this is really important. And I can only urge you to keep your budgets as low as possible. Right now, the theatrical space for indies in the United States is non-existent. You just cannot do any theatrical right now. During COVID, everybody bought an 80-inch television, and now we can't get them off their couch. So unless it's some big, huge blockbuster movie. So you have to keep your budgets low. The streaming is new. The revenue has not caught up with DVD and Blu-ray yet. So there's a limit to how much money you can make on streaming. But if you keep your budgets low enough, you can do it. So.
How do they build their audience?
Well, okay. It used to be you would hand your film over to a studio or to a distributor, and they would hand that in marketing, and you didn't have to think about it. Those days are long gone. We now have to accept responsibility for marketing our films. We have to, whether you like it or not. And the truth of the matter is that it can be quite fun. Creating content to promote your film can be very exciting and it's challenging, but you have to embrace marketing. So I know we spend a lot of time training filmmakers how to promote their films on all the various platforms. And you just have got to embrace the marketing aspect of it. I call it post. That's the newest. That's after post-production. There's a new phase of filmmaking called post. Have to do it.
I'll maybe plug something very quickly. I write a Substack called kinemahq.substack.com, and I show a lot of case studies there. There are a number of different pathways. And so maybe the first thing I'll say is just like, what works for one film is not going to be the thing that works for your film, but you're going to draw inspiration from lots of other people's distribution stories. And so that's what I hope you'll find in those case studies. I'll share one of them. There was a group of filmmakers who created a film about sailing, and they sailed across the Atlantic Ocean over the course of 30 days. And there was a sort of climate justice element to their film as well. So it was a sailing film, it was a climate film, and they kind of knew those things about it. They applied to festivals. They got rejected from 20 festivals. So they did not screen at a single festival. And part of that was because they were not industry people and they didn't have contacts at many of the film festivals, which I think often is sort of a prerequisite to getting into some of these festivals. But at any rate, they were like, okay, well, we want to have at least one screening. So what they did is, again, they knew their audience. They knew that it was for the sailing community, and there was a climate element to it. It wasn't totally a climate movie, but those were then the people that they targeted. And they started with sailing companies. So they spoke to brands. They found a brand that was willing to give them $20,000, and they used that $20,000 to host 3 screening events. They picked cities for those screening events that were not New York and LA, that were cities that they knew they had sailing communities in, that were big sailing. They hadn't yet started to build a following online, by the way. But they just knew that there were big sailing communities in these cities. They picked a European city, they picked a city in North Carolina, and they picked a city in South America. So really all over the place. And they held these big premiere events because their production was literally on the ocean. They had these beautiful photos from set. And they sort of view, oh, this is a competitive advantage that we have as a film. We have all these gorgeous photos. So they created, instead of one movie poster, to your point, they created more than, I think they created 9 movie posters. They used 9 different shots. They had sort of 3 action shots, 3, you get it. So they have all of these posters. They print a bunch of posters. They take them to the 3 premieres that they have. Long story short, they just worked really hard to sell out those 3 premieres. That was the start of their audience building. They have a good film. They now have an audience of people that love the film. They're selling posters, which is a merch revenue stream, but also is word of mouth. Now these posters are sitting in 100 people's homes, and they then have their film on Kinema. Spoiler alert. And so they can then direct all of this word of mouth traffic to screenings that they were hosting on Kinema, and on and on and on. Over time, they did grow a following, but that was the start of their stories.
So I won't, I'll tell a couple of stories, but they're all kind of the same theme. My first boss out here in Hollish is one about a young filmmaker that reached out to him and sent him the synopsis, which film this is many years ago. And he really liked the synopsis. He had believed in this kid and the idea. And he said, come out to Hollywood and come meet me. My boss at the time was a young producer. And so he drove from Texas to Los Angeles and he would fax me pages of the script each day as he kept getting closer and closer to LA. And they just developed together, and that movie became Sex, Lies, and Videotape. And somebody that had believed in himself and his craft and was authentic about it, and he was passionate about it, and he owned it. And I looked at the next story was a group of writers from Utah who decided to just make their own short, and something based off something they thought was funny and very authentic to themselves and their upbringing. And they just made a short, and they went viral around town on DVD, and everyone started passing that around. And my company found it, loved it, optioned it, and we developed a feature film for it. That's the same thing. They wrote the script, they believed in the story. They said, you can't have it unless I direct it. That's how it has to be, because this is our story. It's authentic to us. And you could feel that, and it resonates, and you believe in those filmmakers a bit more because of that authenticity. And then there's another guy, who he just had to create. Like my friends always say, writers have to write, and, storytellers have to tell stories. And so he started just flexing his creative muscle online and creating YouTube videos where he'd have a pile of clothing on the ground, and you just start taking still shots and moving their clothing. It was just in his apartment in Hollywood. And he started telling stories through this, where these clothing would just go on these imaginable adventures throughout his apartment around town. And of course that went viral on YouTube. But it was just something that he found unique and fun to do, and he kept doing them. And eventually, an advertising agency found him, and he started making ads. And then Hollywood came coming. My friend started managing him, and then he started developing features. But it's all based in being authentic to yourself, constantly flexing that muscle, trying new things, being creative, and being authentic. And I feel like if you have that and you embrace technology, so I have friends too who used to go on Craigslist, and they ask for artists. They have this idea, and can you create a poster for them? And they would take a poster and the idea and just pitch it, and people could get it because they have that great image. And now with AI, you can create those posters so easily. So embrace that and make it sure that it's always authentic to yourself, because you never know where it'll take you. Just keep going. That's what I would say.
So I know you're you guys are building all kinds of cool stuff. And
Oh, sorry.
stick with that mic. I know you guys are building cool stuff, so it's not rolled out yet. But when everything's all in place and all nice and beautiful, shiny, the house is built, what is a success story? What will a success story look like working through eoFlix?
My dream and goal for the company is to have filmmakers who don't think they, are trying something different and are true to themselves. And they put something out there that they're vulnerable, which we all are, and it resonates with some of the festivals. They submit it through our company, and it goes to certain festivals, and they build buzz from that. And they take their film and they stream it on our site, and then keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it and building their own brand and creating a ripple effect for other filmmakers to follow and to achieve. And so that more and more users come and watch these, discover these films, and so that they have their shorts and they have their proof of concepts, and they have, here are the top 10 new shorts of data that everyone involves in, and then Hollywood comes coming because they see that proof of concept. And they get in touch with that filmmaker. And that filmmaker has created a network already on our platform of people that he likes and wants to involve. And it literally builds and builds until they reach their dream, whatever that is. Whether that's creating a feature film for a studio, whether that's creating their own like YouTube brand that takes off for, whatever it is that they want to achieve. That's my ultimate dream. Like I just fundamentally believe in how hard it is to do this. And if I can help someone get to the next step in their career, the next step in their evolution as a filmmaker, that would be success of mine.
What's out there for filmmakers right now? Like when you say like don't sell your rights, that's because you get what for them? Nothing, right? What are the deals out there for filmmakers? Are there any, or you just gotta stick to our guns and make it happen for ourselves?
Well, I think right now, the whole industry is in a kind of state of flux. The legacy studios that, for close to 100 years, yes, Warner Brothers, Universal, MGM, Paramount, they just controlled the industry completely for such a very, very long time. And then all of a sudden, we had tech companies like Netflix and Apple and Google and Amazon just move in on them, and they just ignored it and ignored it. And they were 10 years late getting into the streaming business, and now they have such a tiny, tiny piece of the streaming market. Very, very small piece, and unfortunately. I really think they're gonna actually disappear. We've already seen Amazon gobble up MGM. Paramount has disappeared. I think Netflix is going to buy Warner Brothers, and I think it's going to be a whole new world out there. And I think that opens up opportunities. There are you can see there are a lot of new platforms coming. And new opportunities, especially for independent films. I believe that Netflix is going to open back up for independent films. For the past several years, they have been totally closed to small independent films because they required exclusivity, and that was not a good deal for smaller films. We're starting to see them look at opening that door again and doing some non-exclusive deals for independent films. And that's great news for all of us because they do have an extremely wide reach. So we're seeing now the technology has taken over, and that's where your films are going to live. So I believe that there will be a consolidation. I mean, right now there's something like 2,000 platforms of channels. There's plenty of places for your films to go. Even if you don't get on a major platform, there's opportunities for everything.
Yeah, the big three, like you said, Netflix, YouTube, Amazon. You can get on those platforms, but they don't pay you anything.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. We have plenty of films that recoup on Tubi. You know, I mean, Tubi right now is the largest generator of content. Amazon has absolutely, it's such a disappointment. I can't tell you.
But you can still make that.
You can still make money. We still have films that are. We had a film last month that made $30,000 on Amazon TV. But you have to really promote. You have to really get a lot of reviews. You have to really, work at it. But unfortunately now you can't make a new account on Amazon Prime. They have shut that door, and you've got to go through a distributor now. If you don't already have an account on Amazon Direct, you can't get one, and that's unfortunate. But there are several companies out there that will get you on Amazon, and so that's still a place at least where you can get your movie and get it seen and start to build an audience. And once it's on there, it could be on there for a long time. It was a little harder before when you made an independent film. If you were lucky enough to get in Blockbuster as an independent film, you might be there for a couple of months, and that was the end of the life for your film. Done, finished. Okay. Now, even if at the worst case scenario, you put it on your own YouTube channel, you can still get millions of people to watch it. So, the opportunity is out there for you to build a brand for yourself and your movies. So I still think that this is the best time that it's ever been.
It's good to hear. So marketing is still very important. Budget level is still very important. So you can make money back from these larger platforms.
Keep your budget
but
low
you have
enough.
your budget at a certain place. So what should be telling filmmakers? Like, when should they be thinking about distribution, and what are the most important things they should be addressing at that point, whatever that point is in conception, perhaps?
It absolutely from the beginning. And I'm going to let Michael talk a little bit about the assets that you need to create.
Let him talk.
You need to start from the very beginning, and you need to start from the requirements. This will have to do with. But so deliverables. But you need to start from the very beginning and start the concept that you can market. That's what you need to do. And then from there, how do you market the film list? But the deliverables. Okay, she wants me to talk about that. 422 HQ that's what we need. It's a stereo file. That's what we need. It's a very basic. That's as basic it comes. 5.1. If you're going to do 5.1, most of the time filmmakers don't do 5.1 correctly because many platforms like Google Play, there's a certain way you have to map to 5.1, and once the filmmakers make the 5.1, they hand it over to us. They didn't do it correctly. So always make sure you get a good stereo. Stereo, a lot of filmmakers don't understand what stereo is, with left and right's going up and down. And you can just put that back in your editing system, look at it, see if it's mono. Both left and right's going up and down. That's mono. So check it out with the music. You need closed captions, great poster, later Photoshop file for your poster. Stills, you get a lot of great stills. You also need to have a main background image, and what you want to do is always have your subject on the right, because the left side is usually where you put the text, how much it's going to cost, things like that. That background image needs to be something that represents your film. And those are the main things that we need. Music cue sheet. You need to have your rights to your music, and don't get if you guys know this, but a lot of times people, they don't understand about music rights, and you can't put your film out there if you don't have your music rights. And you need to get your music rights for digital, everything, so you can market your film. Also, a lot of times made a filmmaker that didn't get their music rights for online marketing, right? So that's just kind of dead there. Really, really dumb. That's just a huge mistake once you do that, and you're that's it.
Yeah, I would echo start as early as possible, thinking about distribution. In terms of the first thing that you do, there's a resource that Kinema created in collaboration with the crowdfunding platform Seed and Spark called the Distribution Playbook. And if you go to the distributionplaybook.com, you can see it. But one of the first things that we talk about is goal setting and being really clear about what your goals are. Oftentimes people will say, oh, my goal is to get on Netflix, or my goal is to get a distribution deal. That isn't really a goal. And so starting to be really clear about what specifically is your goal. And in the playbook, we sort of talk about how everything kind of ladders up to 4 goals. And they are, I'm making this film to advance my career, and I know that. I'm making this film and I want to make money with it. I'm making this film and I want to make some kind of impact with it. Or I'm making this film and I'm really looking to grow an audience. So be sort of clear about, is it eyeballs that I want? Is it impact that I want? Is it awards that I want? Is it money that I want? And really picking one and sticking to it. You'll find that it really helps with your decision making as you go through the process. And what I mean by that is even small decisions, like as you get into distribution, you have $5,000. How am I going to spend this $5,000? Am I going to spend it on publicity, or am I going to spend it on something else? Well, if the thing that I care about is awards, maybe I'll spend it on trying to get some press. If the thing that I care about is impact, maybe I try to work with an impact producer. So it really sort of helps you clarify in what way are you going to go to market, and in what way are you going to build that audience.
I thought of something that a lot of people don't think to do. And that is that in the very beginning, even when you're writing the script, the title of your film is something really critical. And we have seen absolute failures of films simply because the title of their film is totally inappropriate. It's so easy to go on the internet and check on IMDb and with Google the name of your film. If you make a film that has the same name as 10 other films, has exactly the same name, and somebody tries to search for your film, they're never going to find it, because all of those other films have been out longer than yours, and they're going to come up first. And don't name your film with the name of a band that's really popular. We've had that happen. And then that band, that big rock and roll band, is always going to come up first. You've got to research the title of your film. It's really, really, really important. And yeah, absolutely. And IMDb is probably one of the most important tools that you can get. IMDb Pro, every filmmaker needs to have it. I don't care if you got to do Grubhub in order to pay that $15 every month. You need to have IMDb Pro, because it'll help you with everything. There's such an important tool.
Don't put symbols in your name of your film. And also, there's one example. I have a film called Kid, and every time you search for the film, kids' films come up, and the film's not about kids.
and it's a shame, because the film is really, really good, and it's so hard to market.
There goes my film, Kanye West. Everything they said is accurate, in my opinion. I was fortunate enough to work at IMAX for many years and worked with a lot of really great directors. And working with Christopher Nolan, who was the most intense man I've ever met in my life. But he knew everything from marketing to distribution to tech to everything. He was inside and out in this film, and he thought about it years in advance. And he was controlling over all of it, because it all matters. The end result. 2013 to
All right, I'm going to turn it over to the audience now. Triple, there's a question right away.
Okay, I have a question.
I'll repeat your question.
Thank you. Well, I can speak loud.
Yeah, you are. I can see that.
All right. So I have a movie that has a really great marketing plan already in place. We've already done a lot of viral marketing. We've gotten out. We have all this stuff. My actors have like 1 million followers. They're producers on the film. It's a really cool movie. And I just want to get it out in the world. I have all the art. I have all the candles and everything you guys have recommended. I have the deliverables. I have everything. How do I stand out to you guys so that you see my film, like, so that you see it? Because I know I've submitted this to you guys. I haven't heard anything back, but
When did you submit?
a couple weeks ago.
You should hear by now. Right now, for some reason, because it's the American film market is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting like 20 submissions a day. So,
Got it.
I mean, we have to be selective.
Yes.
But if you've got a good story and you've got good acting and your production value is good, you're probably going to be accepted by us, and you'll get a letter from us. And
we have to be very selective because when we first started the company, we would take almost everything. But after a while, we're paying to host people's films, and we have to be extremely selective because our deal is an 80-20 split, and from the first dollar that comes in, we give you 80%. So we don't charge the filmmakers any expenses. So we have to make sure that the films that we're taking pay the bills.
Well, just so you know, whenever you have a conference, I'll let you know later. We have a huge audience of people just dying to see this movie.
Right? What's the name of it?
Mile 666. Now it's a little weird, but
it's a good title.
It's a great title.
Yep.
But it has a huge audience of people just dying. It's literally dying. We had to stop doing our social media because we were afraid we were going to patch them out. We have nowhere to send them.
Well, email us.
Send an email.
Yeah. So I just want to make it stand out to you guys, to see it.
Let me ask you this: how did you submit your?
So my friend Seth Kaplan, who I'm in AFI with, he just gave me the email, and I just submitted it directly to your portal.
Yeah, we
So how does she stand out?
How do I stand out? Yeah, I want to stand out.
What else can she do?
We look at everything. We look at
a good trailer. That's how it starts with a good trailer.
I got an awesome trailer. I need this pretty awesome.
Then stand up. I mean, we look at the poster, we look at the trailer, we look at all your stuff.
Maybe something I know the submission.
One poster, but I have 10 posters.
We look at all your social media.
It's a horror film?
Yeah.
It's a horror film, and it's really educational. And like I said, our actors have 1 million followers, and they're pushing this thing all the time.
Well, as long as you put all that information in your submission.
All right.
We don't remember.
Yeah. You guys talk after this.
Thank you very much. Oh. Hi, my name is Ariel D. King. Jacques knows me. I have a crew of people that are ready to do a feature film. I have the deliverables. All I need to know at this point, I need someone to help me package all of these great elements. I have produced, I have written, I have acted, I have good at every single one. This is Daniel Weiland. He's an amazing cinematographer. Who do I call to say, help me package all of these things? This is just something that I don't know, but I'm good at what I do. Is that a publicist? Is it a particular type of producer?
What type of things do you have?
So, music. I don't want to go too much because we're talking about marketing. It involves heavy social media marketing. Little concept, but executed on social media in a way that gets people engaged. And there's also a climate element, but it also brings people into hubs. I want to get people off the internet and in hubs in their cities. So I don't know if you remember Bandersnatch or Black Mirror. It's very along those lines. And it is also going to involve some, do you remember the version of Black Mirror where you could select, the avenue that you wanted to go? So I have an idea with that too. So I need a special type of editor that can do that. It was complicated, but it's very much worth it.
So you don't have the movie yet.
I have a short film version of it. That's done. What I want to do is I want to package it correctly. So when I present it, just how you see how you're very assertive, here it is. And they can see exactly what it is. They can see how much money they're going to make. There will be profits with music as well. It's great. I just need the right person to sit down with me, let me lay out all the elements of it, and let me use Daniel Weiland because it's nice. I have one. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have maybe one thought to offer. And so so I think we talked about Kinema and sort of what you might do during the film festival cycle or after, but we do have films that come onto Kinema, and you can set it up in a private mode so that you're sort of controlling who can see the film. And so there are films that are doing some films start doing test screenings quite early, but there are some folks that are doing what they're calling fundraising screenings. They might show, and in the case of a feature film, they might show a 25-minute clip, and they've invited a room of influencers or potential investors to that room. And then they're kind of having what is like a virtual screening and Q&A essentially, that they're using that functionality to invite thoughts about distribution, or in your case, I think potentially invite, you know, more supporters, I guess, onto your film team. So it's a way to sort of create an event around your film or your proof of concept, and then you can kind of do that in I kind of think of Kinema as your back office. So it's just an easy way to do that kind of thing over and over again until you're sort of ready to move on to the next
Yes, it's
step.
actually a great idea. I've done it many times where back in the day, we would have these fundraising parties where we'd show parts of things or ideas, and we'd bring all the people that we want. And it's all about reaching out to the partners that you need to take them to the next level.
But the clarity I need is there's a very specific person that can help me package this and execute it.
Like not a producer.
So
Yeah, you need a producer. You need another person.
I'm talking like it's a lot of elements. So what would
Right.
this person specialize? Like they have to specialize in
Maybe some of the tech
social
skills.
media, all of it.
So,
Say it again.
Sounds like it's more than one person.
yeah.
It is definitely one person. So I'm thinking of like a house, like a production house specifically that I could approach and be like, these are my elements. You know, they give me their budget for doing this, and that's
And I guess it's like, what's your goal? Like, where is it end? Where does it live eventually?
where does it live?
Yeah.
The film?
Yeah, is it going to be in theaters? Is it going to be streaming? Like, what's
Well, there's two options. It could be a series and a feature film. I want to do both.
and so are you building? It sounds like for me, you're trying to build a marketing campaign pre-launch for your film that gets people excited about it. Maybe there's stunts. Maybe there's some viral marketing. You see that a lot through marketing like horror films. You get there, and then it kind of grows from there. It sounds like what you need one is like a producer has connections to some of these like ER houses that can create those kind of moments to you. I'd have to think about it. Depends on who it is and like what first things first is like when whoever this producer is, however you're going to pitch them, you have to be really clear about what it is. Because I'm confused as to what it is right now. And it sounds interesting.
Mhm.
But it's like just getting right to the point and being able to just hit it and sell. And then sort of you're like, okay, we can hire a PR agency, you can hire marketing agencies to do this. But you need that one producer that will guide you through that process. And then the steps along the way to build it towards what your ultimate goal is. And it sounds like it's marketing attached to it. Because it could be like I started stuff where I just used YouTube and just created some crazy things about like that, just didn't know if it was real or not kind of thing. And then it eventually became like, whoa. But like that's how we started. These kind of like flips that kind of built and built. And then here did science. And that was went viral as well. And then, ultimately leads to like development of film.
Gotta get out of there. It's finding the right market where you that way this way.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Achievement. So that it's a teacher, they should be. I mean, this is the team that's concept of TV, of the second words, and I get it from taking additional mark. I am signing the streaming website. Was I especially about it? Those are Jesus, the in months ago. Is that I have to visit the was along and told them shows me now. As well as for a little resident of stream of and the one not the people what am I just as the shakes take one day and I took some was on robbing. I get 500,000 minutes. I find it's me. So you saw on a link to see fun. He go or that he answered on yes, pause just my image. Finds family speaking because of the time by that I so first. So I mentioned the phone last year and so on once in the year that I produces training time to she shouldn't have to say it. And I'm used to the years of time. So it's not going well. And all of my damage already passed. So I'm like here from the social media. Yeah, the seriously, I was on the network. They were chatting around like those to see every episode. Then I'm nuts. Absolutely works. And 200%. Like chatting about those just look at it because it is really just one lecture is and so I think that I've got notes and not for that.
It's in English, and you have all your rights back.
I've been submitted to us. I think they were like, but the weird thing is about it. Some people make a micro scene. Do you know this is?
No, it doesn't matter. Just go on our website and submit it. We'll take a look at it now. I'll give you my advice.
Well, I'm not sure.
No, just one episode. Just
That's the best one.
They got some, yeah. They need a place to start. So it's
But just so you know, it's very hard to Zulu and Peacock. They're just
they don't have a huge market. Yeah, they spend a lot of money on advertising here.
they do a lot of their own projects. Yeah.
You should be on
Yes.
Amazon too.
Let me get another question.
Hi. I'm in post on documentary. I'm just curious of what point would, it's an interrupt. I'm very, 2 hours, things will run difference.
When it's finished,
So it wasn't kind of boring sales or anything like that.
Nope.
And,
There's not really pre-sales anymore.
there isn't.
Not really, no. Those days are,
I mean, if you have Brad Pitt, you're
You
Yeah.
can get a pre-sale.
it's very.
documentary.
That's your strong.
Okay,
You need to finish it.
and also, I was trying to do it, I want to get for to do something.
It depends on the film. It's highly unlikely that in the States.
Unless you pay for it yourself. Pay for it yourself.
Oscar attention. They didn't yet. Oh, they were doing
What's it about?
It's a Holocaust documentary. A mother was one of 2 children who escaped alone at 6 from Nazi occupied France.
You'd have to find a specialty company that handles those type of dogs. Because you would not be okay.
Yeah. That's tough.
Theatrical is hard.
It's you can go through there. You can find out who those theatrical companies are on IMDb, and
Chat GP.
get in touch with the people that released that and see if they'd be interested.
Was that place first?
Yeah, I just saw it. Yeah, well, there you can go to Premiere Digital or Bitpacks and say submit my film to see if you get me a Netflix deal.
One thing I'll ask.
There's a couple of companies that are aggregators, right? You came down. I think they charge about $1,500, something like that, and they will pitch your film to them. And that you might as well find out. If that's the route you want to go. We've not found it very viable.
Anybody get you on here?
No, it wouldn't get this yet. Well, no, Netflix does. Yeah, this is sometimes.
Yeah.
And by the way, your film got an offer.
Oh, thank you.
Spam, I can tell after see me afterwards, and I'll tell you.
I mean, you were gonna say something?
Well, I just wanted to say that we've had films on our platform that have raised money for their own theatrical. So if you end up not getting a distribution offer that has the theatrical built into it, you can fund your own, and you can either do, you could full wallet and pay for it entirely yourself, or if you have a relationship with the theater, or you build a relationship with the theater, which you can, it's never too early to build relationships. So if you ever need to ask somebody for something at some point, try to build a relationship with them before you need to ask them something. And so you could start to figure out what those theaters might be and talk to those theatrical bookers, get a sense for how they market their films to those communities, figure out what assets you can bring to them to make them feel like, oh, wait, she's going to sell out this theater because that's what they care about. And we've had films in private mode before they've done their theatrical do sort of specialized screening events where they catch the audience. And there's one film in particular that I'm thinking about that raised about $100,000 for then a week-long theatrical. So people raise money for all sorts of things, and that you can do it yourself. And you'll get all of that audience data, which is really, really valuable for your last film and even for your distribution offers that will eventually come in, because you now have leverage. You get to say, I'm bringing this audience. And I know that I sold out this theater. I know who my audience is. You come to those meetings instead of sort of asking for something, you're getting something.
All right, the last question. Well, this gentleman was asking right here.
But the question for Einstein Oxygen, thanks for all the information, but especially the thing you said to introduce the platform. It's very passionate and really exciting. So I was wondering if there would be room on that platform for films outside of the three-act structure, so I have an interactive film that has to be posted. It has to be in HTML form so people can type in because it can be visualized, and it's a looping film and it has a gamification element. They are basically trying to they're trying to get out of the story. So how would I pitch something like that to your platform?
I guess, it's what we do is we invite all films, but from a technical standpoint, it sounds like yours kind of a little more complex. And that's not to say that we can't accommodate. It's just one of those things that we have to work with our engineers. Like you said, like exactly what you're saying. And one back there said, like, those type of creativity around filmmaking is what we want to embrace. Like, I love the idea of just exploring of like just the 3-act story and messing around and seeing what you do and how that changes. And maybe that's like the new genre and that could live on our platform. It's just a matter of like technologically whether or not the engineers can accommodate. And I am up here not as an engineer, clearly. So I don't know, but it's interesting to me for sure.
It's self-contained on its own website.
On its own website. Well, we could talk after. You figure something out.
All right, thanks for coming. Thank you, panelists, for